This is the Ecommerce Braintrust, a podcast about building momentum online for established consumer brands. Join our hosts and their expert guests for high-level conversations about e-commerce strategies, trends, and innovations. Access our Braintrust and boost your brand's e-commerce potential.
Hello and welcome to the Ecommerce Braintrust podcast. I'm Julie Spear, Head of Retail Marketplace Services at Acadia, alongside my co-host, Director of Retail Account Management, Jordan Ripley. And today we have our Director of Retail Media, Ross Walker, and another director, our Director of Retail Marketplace Strategy, Pat Petriello, to come on and chat through updates that came out of unBoxed. We're sitting at about a week out from all of the grand announcements at the point of this recording. And we thought it would be fun to relive the moments together and talk through the announcements and what we see them meaning for brands and providers in the space. So with that, Ross, Pat, welcome. Great to have you back on the show.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Like I said, we've been back from all the grandiose vibes of Opryland Hotel and all the beauty that was unBoxed. We've been back for a few days now, or about a week out from the keynote where they did many of the big announcements. So now that you've had a little bit of time to sit, reflect, journal about what was shared during the event, do you see any threads or themes that seem to span across the different announcements that we heard last week?
Yeah. I think when we were all sitting in on those sessions and hearing different product announcements and hearing the keynote, I think the one word I clocked that I heard more than any other word was democratization. And as easy as that one is to say, I think one of the themes that spanned across the event was accessibility, making some Amazon functionality available to both non-endemics with massive budgets who may not even sell on Amazon, but all the way down to self-service functionality for brands and sellers who are maybe challenger brands who are maybe just getting started. I think Amazon correctly understands that in order to get value out of these products and out of these tool functionality that they're building, they also need to make it simpler to use. And so simplification is, I think, another theme that came out of this as well. So a couple of examples for that. Obviously, the combination of sponsored ads and DSP into Campaign Manager, that is intended to not have to log into two separate tools to manage media, to measure insights, to see how things are going. So there's a simplification for that makes it easier. Again, with the creative agent as well, that was one of the most impressive panels or presentations that they had. And I think we'll talk about that a little bit more, but I think the utilization of that from brands who don't have in-house creative teams to film product shots and lifestyle videos, but then all the way up to large global brands who maybe want to focus their energy on the head of their catalog, but still need a way to generate content for the rest of the catalog, and how that enables testing as well, because you can test and learn. So I'd say the two biggest ones for me are democratization and simplification.
It just rolls right off the tongue.
Oh, yeah.
It was definitely no vacation.
Ooh, I like that.
We quite obviously didn't plan that in advance.
Yeah, obviously. Great time being down there. I have a core hot take that I feel like Amazon is pushing. I don't feel this way 100%. The message seems to be clear. Keywords are boring. Audiences, creative, and placements are the real value and the real interest. That's what even a lot of my clients who are like diehard PPCers came away from, saying, okay, it's finally clicked. This isn't just about search ads anymore. Like there's more to this machine.
Is it as harsh a statement as keywords are boring as much as keywords are so 2023? Is it more?
Is that different? I don't know.
I'm trying to soften the blow to that statement.
I would never say that. Like the core value is, I think, still there for search, but the message was clear in the kind of releases. The future is this direction.
As someone who peaked in 2023, I'm just really encountering an existential crisis immediately in this episode.
Is that when you cut off your ponytail?
Yeah, that's right. That's when Cool Jordan no longer.
I feel like I peaked far earlier than that. So you're still so close to your peak.
Yeah. It's a quick and precipitous descent.
Yeah, I think to Roz's point, Amazon is, you stop doing what you've always been doing. You can't. You absolutely can't.
Yeah, I think There were a lot of, I would say, sexier product announcements, Creative Agent being up among the top, and we'll dive into this in a second. There is the one that you mentioned, Pat, that really takes a thrust at the simplification element. And I feel like this one, at least for solution providers and agencies, felt like a huge relief, even if it didn't grab as many headlines as it maybe should have. Speaking of that sponsored ads and DSP unification into a single platform, Ross have a team of dozens of folks that are hands-on keys navigating between these two platforms. What does this actually mean for those of us that are not operating an incognito window and a regular window multiple times? What does this actually solve for you and the team?
Yeah, what you summarized it. There are dozens, literally dozens of us that care about this. But in all candor, the unification of the sponsored ads and DSP platform was, I think, presaged by the unification of the AMC capabilities being available to all brands within the sponsored ads, or we should just say the advertising console. It, for a long time, didn't make sense that you had to log into different portals and that you had to pull multiple sets of reports. I think one of the biggest value adds that we're seeing right now, my team has already messaged about this week, is you can now pull reporting for sponsored ads and DSP in one report at the click of a button, and you can do it across advertisers. So as an agency, instead of relying on a SaaS tool to unify all this data to be your data lake, Amazon is actually functioning the way it should be right now. They've got all the data ported out to agencies the way that they need it, because in many ways, I think this signals that they've accepted that the agency is going to be a part of this roadmap and they're developing products around it. And I, for one, appreciate that greatly, but it's to the brand's benefit. That's more time for strategy on their account.
Yeah, I would echo that, especially going back and looking historically. And Amazon has always preached customer centricity, right? And a customer first approach. But then when you actually look at the product development of ad console and sponsored ads and DSP, those were really product first. They had two teams, didn't really talk, didn't really touch all that much. And those teams were born and build these products that both became really powerful in silos. But then if you are actually to look at that holistically, that's not really customer centric. That makes it more difficult for customers being brands and partners in this point. So it made sense to do that. And it really does build on the Ross theory of keywords are so 2023 or keywords are boring or however we want to frame that. Because
I put my foot in my mouth on that one. There's a lot of people dozens of people on my team that are going to hate me for that.
Okay. Pitchforks ready?
And not that it's a bubble, but we are in this space. We're so close to it. We obsess over this stuff because that's what we do. There's still a large part of the community that looks at DSP with a cautious eye or isn't really sure how top of funnel or impressions, really, how do they go back to their CFO and really show that it moved the needle? It's a conversation that's been happening for years and years. And this is just another step forward to making that case more simply that, hey, do not just look at last click attribution. Yeah, do you know why somebody clicked on that sponsored product ad and ended up converting? Because they learned about your brand 8 different times through streaming TV or through DSP. And we have been able to do that as a partner through ANC analysis. But again, this is the ease and the simplification of being able to access that and single unified reports, as Ross just mentioned. It's going to help everybody. And the end goal for Amazon is clear. It's adopt and invest in these advertising units beyond sponsored ads.
And I think to pick up on the theme that you've hit on a few times here, Pat, is simplification. And a number of changes over time, the simplification has enabled ease with managing ad campaigns and data and reporting. Now we're actually into a world of beyond simplification with the agentic solutions that Amazon has rolled out. You mentioned Creative Agent. There's also Ads Agent for audience selection and AMC specific elements for query generation and exploring insights. Those were pretty amazing announcements that were made during unBoxed. Which of those are you most excited about to follow and to engage with?
For me, it's Creative Agent, and I think we try to be pretty agnostic in terms of when Amazon rolls out something that's not so impressive, we'll call that out. But I have to tip my cap and say, when we were sitting there, and you could see, you've been at conferences, people are on their laptops, on their phones, everybody's heads picked up, phones went down, you could feel it in the room of, whoa, this is better. And I'll admit, it was better than I thought it was. And when I say better, the actual quality of, I believe I'm correct in saying that the quality of the ads that you can produce are fit for Prime Video TV. They're top quality. I think the fact that you can give essentially a creative brief or a prompt, you can upload attachments, and that this will pull information and details right from the PDP. And then just like you can imagine with a natural language tool like a ChatGPT, you can say, hey, make it more holiday feeling, put a campfire in the background, and you can do these prompts. What that clicked for me is the ability to test different creative quickly and at scale to see what resonates, which historically has sometimes been a weeks and months long process. And it's difficult to produce those assets. And now pretty quickly to say, hey, does lifestyle work better here? Does it work better with seeing the product at use? Do people like to see it outside, inside? There's any number of tests. And what I think for the future, this will mean is that there will be a talent battle of who becomes good at writing good prompts. Because one of the things we noticed quickly was, okay, anybody can go in there and say, hey, show me my product outside or at a cabin or in the woods. But there is slop potential here as well. There's the potential for some homogenous outputs with lazy prompts. And so I actually think one of the competitive, like I said, battlegrounds among partners and creative types and brands will be who becomes expert prompt writers to get this thing to create really beautiful stuff.
Ross, were you also, was Creative Agent your top agent?
It wasn't my top agent.
Oh, okay.
No, I did.
America's Next Top Agent?
Yeah, I did love it quite a lot. For me, the agent that immediately helped me was the AMC agent. I went in and played with it, and I got a solution to a problem that helped my team within seconds. And that was truly a big help. I didn't have to wait for a support case. I didn't have to go to some technical SME. It was a big help. And I anticipate there will be a lot more of that. And my team is now starting to play with this and saying, I have these complex business ideas. I don't need to now go through a SQL expert whose time is very rarefied and and they're even hard to access. And even getting the request, getting the brief right between the SME and the person whose hands on keyboard is tough. And now you have the AA agent that should accelerate that a lot. So for a hyper nerd like me, I really love that they've made the guts of Amazon AMC a lot easier to navigate.
AMC skills, I think what they're calling
it. No, it's just an agent. It's like a chat box. Agent. It's a chat agent.
Yep.
So it's a natural language chat agent, and it's built right into everything is purple now, which I love. Great color. Fantastic. If you have questions, you just know to go to the purple stars, and that's where the answer is.
So what Ross is, that's part of the overall ads agent solution. What he is ignoring that is also a part of that ads agent solution is keyword selection.
Yeah,
it supports with keyword selection.
Those boring keywords for you.
So it seems that he's focused on the AMC. I'll give him that. But I just want to make sure it's clear to everybody that the ads agent actually has more capability than just AMC.
Yes. And Julie, I think we've seen some, or we maybe had a conversation, who can remember with all the travel, that there's some hot take artists who like to claim this is the end of partners. This is the end of agencies. Agencies are dead because ads agent exists. I might pull the e-brake on that particular take. I don't necessarily think that this means that it's a replacement of partners. I think this is an added tool that'll actually allow us to test quicker and move more quickly. But yeah, I know that's been a narrative taking hold.
And I think it's actually an opportunity for partners to level up the strategic. There's more space for the strategic approach rather than the tactical pushing of buttons and copy paste to set all these things up. Actually have the time on the calendar and then the mind space to approach the campaigns and accounts more strategically. That's a win across the board.
Yeah, I want to pull that apart a little bit because I think this is not a phenomenon unique to AI. If you look at the sort of long arc of advertising generally, advertising on Amazon specifically, as solutions come out, as technology develops faster, as native platforms get better, the amount of time that you spend bulk uploading whatever placements or things like that, it diminishes over time as that grunt work gets automated. And now we're seeing yet one further leap forward of, okay, a lot of that grunt work, whether it's building creatives, whether it's selecting audiences, whether it's generating keywords, is now in this larger agentic ecosystem. So Ross, for you as someone who sits across a team and thinks about where are our resources best allocated, you have to sit in that uneasy middle of one option might be much more efficient, but we also have to validate the quality of that thing that just come out. And this is not the first time that we're faced with that trade-off. I just wonder how you think about that in this kind of next chapter.
Well, if I'm a brand, the thing that I care the most about is that I'm getting great depth of experience great depth of technical expertise, and really like a sounding board against the recommendations that are coming from, say, Amazon, or coming from the greater thought leadership ecosystem, or that are coming from AI, right? Like we've always served as that bulwark against the myriad of ideas that are out there. What does my agency say? What does my expert say about what we should do? How do they validate and vet all these opportunities? And so in some ways that doesn't change. That really doesn't change here, right? Like AI is going to be giving lots of campaign recommendations. They're going to be giving like a full funnel proposal. Great. Vet that against what the actual goals of the brand are. Like, you know, if anything, we just have to like more deeply embed ourselves with the goals question and what the appropriate outcome looks like, so that we can really manage whether or not it's doing its job. So to Pat's point, yeah, we have to get good at writing queries. But I think even more than like, I think about this from a team training perspective. So forgive everyone who doesn't care about that at all. But how do you train the team now, not to think about building plans and executing them, but vetting recommendations? That's now a whole new skill set.
Yeah. Fascinating. I do want to give a little bit of time today to the fact that DSP, agentic, all these things gobbled up a lot of the airspace around these announcements. But we did see a meaningful amount of product announcements in the kind of tried and true space, which, Ross, maybe this gets you some credibility back with your team speaking to things. All of these are things that impact SERP directly, right? On platform Amazon search results. Thinking of sponsored product video, the prompts that are now within sponsored products and sponsored brands, sponsored brand collections, sponsored brands reserve share of voice. These are multiple product announcements that all touch that ecosystem and those placements. Any of these that stand out to you of, oh, this is actually going to reorient our strategy or the way that we think about these like within SERP placements?
Sponsored products video is the one that jumps out most immediately to me. Even for lay folk, you'll do the same searches you've always done or search for things this holiday season and say, oh, everything is video in the sponsored products placements. This is probably not really a surprise to anybody who's been paying attention. Everything everywhere has gone from text and image to video across the whole internet. Amazon has obviously gone that direction as well. I think users are reporting that or showing with their buying signals that they find it a better way to learn about products, higher conversion rates, higher click-through rates. And so it's more friendly for mobile as well, which is where an increasing percentage of shopping is being done. So I think sponsored product video, and that obviously ties directly into the creative agent because that demands an input of video assets. So you're putting more strain on advertisers to create those assets. So at the same time, you're providing a solution to be able to satisfy that. I think Ross touched on this just now as well, is there's what you can do and what to do. And those are all input focused thinking, which is great. That's where you have to start with new stuff. But really where this will shake out in a few months is how did it perform? That's really what brands and advertisers care about. Is not, I can push a new button, I can pull in new levers. Did it help me? Did it help me hit my goals? Am I selling more products? Am I gaining market share? Am I more profitable? I think how we use these things well and where that story will really be compelling is when we show the output, the testing, and that the performance is better. That's what brands care about. It's not, oh, I can do new things. It's my brand is better off and healthier as a result.
Yeah, I think the area where I agree on sponsored product video, there's a lot to learn about what sponsored brand collections actually looks like. Because to be honest, I think they just threw up some images. I don't think they actually fleshed out what that service offers.
It's a product release. That's a check.
Yeah. Minimum viable product, yeah.
But the team has been playing with the sponsored brand reserve share of voice. And where I initially thought of it as like a 12-month upfront commitment, I'm now seeing that there are like minimum terms. So you can do, I think, like a 30-day or a 90-day minimum term reserve share of voice. And that actually gives me like a little bit of a higher valuation of it. As an upfront, I was very wary of locking in so much budget on a questionable placement. But if you had a time when you really wanted to guarantee share of voice, then maybe this is like actually a very effective tool for brands to go and grab when it makes sense. So to me, those are really interesting new developments in the sponsored product SERP world.
I wonder if we have any upcoming time periods where reserving your brand share of voice would be particularly useful, like any high traffic, almost like an event of some type, which I can't.
For me, yeah. For me, that's that's the trap, right? You're going to have a bunch of brands going to say, okay, for T5, I must own my branded share of voice. And I'll tell you, every single one of my brands that has given up on that, and you and I are aligned on this, Pat, every single one of our brands that has said, forget about it, go upper funnel, go conquest new territory, go get new customers. That's been the more effective use of dollars.
You be still my demand generation heart.
Yeah, this feature to me feels like the P&G button where it's you got money to spend, hit that button, reserve that voice, cash it over.
No CEO ever got fired for reserving their branded share of voice. So careful.
So branded share of voice, all of the reserve for branded share of voice, that wasn't the only. There were about 14 total product announcements at unBoxed. And so to put a bow back on the box. I'm interested if there are any features that we didn't touch on today or any that we kind of undersold in our conversation today that really stand out to you from that full list of 14 product announcements that came from unBoxed. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think I need to better understand this myself, if I'm being honest, but I think Project Complete TV is something that hasn't come up in this conversation, which could be really compelling. It's essentially it's a streamlined order experience that gives you the opportunity to manage and optimize your streaming TV investments across different publishers. And you can prioritize that based on those order goals. And so you can track to those KPIs. That's like the very high level way. Really what it does, if I go back to simplification and democratization, is it makes it easier to invest in and measure streaming TV investment through Amazon DSP across multiple publishers and measure the total impact of that on brand awareness, top of funnel. When I joked about demand generation, that really is, if anyone's heard me this year, all I've spoken about is the 95-5 rule and making sure you're reaching audiences who are not yet in market. And I'm excited because, like I said, transparently, I want to better understand Complete TV and like really how it looks. But I think that is something that, again, might not be too sexy, might sound wonky up front, but could end up having one of the biggest impacts in 2026.
Yeah, I think that the sort of broader story we told about unifying sponsored ads and DSP platforms and reporting into one, we didn't talk at all about the new full funnel campaigns, which is a full funnel DSP, upper funnel streaming TV ad, all the way to a sponsored product ad at the very end of the funnel. I'm very curious to see what that looks like. I think that could become the new normal because we preach that to our brands all the time. And now if Amazon makes this like a one-click activation, then that will be a very big sea change and a very big update for how we use our time and also how brands track the whole journey. That is probably end up being the biggest one if it's a good product.
The other one we didn't talk about at all that I thought was really compelling was GIA.
Yeah,
was for the geo-targeting and the capabilities there. I think what we're laying out here are future episodes for us to come back together and talk about these other feature and product rollouts and how they're actually coming to life in the wild. Ross, Pat, thanks for coming on today, sharing your hot takes. I don't think keywords are dead. No.
Didn't say that. Just said the word cool.
Oh, that's right. They're boring. They're boring.
We're alive. That's the lane I thrive in.
Thanks for coming on and chatting today.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.